Okay, so today we'll continue our user group and permission management. Okay, so some of the commands which we'll learn today is user add. Okay, that we have already learned yesterday. Passwd. Using user add, we can create a user command. Passwd is used for setting the password. We learned yesterday user del as well. Okay, so create a group. We'll be using the command group add group name. Okay, then we'll be able to add any user to a group using this command user mod, or at the time of installation as well we can use user add -g. Okay, and the group name and the username. Now we'll also learn about the permissions. Okay, so three permissions are always there for any file or a directory: read, write, and execute. Okay, so we're using ls-l or ls-ld. We can check the permissions for any user, for any file or a directory. Okay, to change a permission we'll be using some combination. Okay, so for generally if you want to give only read permission, then 4 is used. For write, 2 is used. For execute, 1. Okay, and 0 means no permission. For example, I want to give 6 owner read write, then 6 group read, then 4, and others 4. Okay, then the combination would be ch mode. So I'll tell you how to calculate this 644 and all. Okay, but ch mode is the command, remember, for modifying the permission. Okay, then any file or a directory will also have a owner and a group. Okay, and if you want to change the owner and the group, we'll be using the command chown. So these are the commands which we'll be learning today. Okay, so let's start some demos, and I'm assuming that my screen is visible. If it's still not, let me know. So I've logged into my EC2 instance. So I've created an EC2 instance DevOps VM yesterday. Okay, and the public IP has changed today. Okay, so I've logged in as a new public IP. We'll always use this VM for a couple of days. Okay, we'll just stop it when it is not in use. Just don't forget to stop it, otherwise unnecessarily your free tier usage will be getting over soon. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so I think we created some users and group yesterday. So to check which user was created, we can use the command cat passwd. Okay, in this file, okay, anything above 1000 is a normal user, and anything above 10,000 here is a system user. So all the above users which are below 10,000 are system users. Okay, and anything above 10,000, that is, yesterday we created John user, the Ubuntu user is created at the time of installation itself. Okay, so they both have 10,000 and 10,001. So next user when I create, it will have a UID 1002. Okay, and whenever a user is created, a group with the same name will also be created. So the first field here is the username. Okay, this is the password field, it is hidden. This field is UID, a particular ID given to a user. As I said, whenever we create a user, a group with the same name will also be created. So this is the GID, and this is just some details about the user. This is the home directory. Okay, any user will by default have his home directory in /home. Okay, and the shell for the user is bash. Okay, so if you don't provide the shell by default, it will take as sh. Okay, and let's see the /etc group file as well. In group file we can check the groups which we have created. So yesterday we created a John group. Okay, actually we created a user, and whenever we create a user, a group with the same name will also be created. So this is 1001 is the GID. Okay, and whenever we create a group, the user will not be created with the same name. Okay, so remember, only when we create a user, the primary group with the same name will be created. And what is the secondary group? There are two types of group. First is a primary, that is the one which get automatically created, and the secondary group is if you create manually any other group, and if you want that user to be part of that group, that will be the secondary group. So let's create our user add and all we have seen yesterday. So group add is the command to create a group, and let's create a group called class. Okay. And by default, the user which we are logged in is not having a root privileges. Okay, and but at the time of installation, a one user is created, that is in this case Ubuntu. Okay, this Ubuntu user will be having an administrator level privileges, but for that we'll have to add sudo. Okay, so I have added sudo and able to create a group called class. To check whether the group is created or not, we'll use cat/etc group. Okay, so if you see, a class group is created and it's having the GID as 1002. Let's check /etc passwd as well. Okay, to confirm that a class will not be getting created when we create a group. Okay, now we have a user called John and we have a group called class. So if I want to add a user John, okay, so how to remember, just add John, which user we want to add. As the John user is already there, so we will not use it with the add command. We'll be using with the user mod. Okay, which user you need to modify? Its secondary group we need to modify. So right here -g, and it should be part of class. Okay, class group. So class will be the secondary group for the user John. Okay, just press enter. We'll have to add sudo. Though we have as admin level privileges, it is applicable only when we add sudo to it. Okay, now John user is added in the class. Let's check this /etc group. Okay, so if you see, class group is there. Okay, and this is the GID and John user is added in the class group. Okay, so let's create one more group add. grp1. I'll just create a group called group1. Okay, add sudo to it. So I've created a group called grp1. I'll create one more user add James. Okay, and I want it to be part of -g. Secondary group should be grp1. Okay, so I'm just adding. I created a group grp1. Now I'm adding James user in group 1. Just press enter and always add sudo to it. Okay, now let's check cat/etc group. So we have a James group. Okay, which is the primary group. Whenever a user is created, the group with the same name will be created. This is the primary group of James, and we also created one group grp which has GID 1003, and James is part of it. Okay, now if you see cat/etc passwd, James user will be there. Okay, so we have two users, John and James. Okay, and we have a group as well. Okay, grp1 and class, they are the secondary group for John and James. Okay, so this is how we change the group or create a new group, and this is how we add a user in that group. Okay, Now let's delete it. User del, okay, -r will also delete the home directory and any other such directories. If you do not use -r, it will not delete the home directories. So let's delete it. James and John, these are the two users I want to delete. I'll do it at us one time. Okay, so James is deleted. Let's delete the John as well. And let's delete the group as well. So -r is not applicable for group and class. And in case we do not want that we to add sudo again and again, one of the method would be sudo su hyphen. Okay, then will become root, and as a root we can uh, run any commands. Okay, but in most of the scenarios you won't be provided the root access. Okay, so it's better to practice with sudo. Then when we use with root, then we don't have to add sudo because it is a administrator user. So the next topic which we'll see is will be so suppose we'll be changing the permissions for a file or a directory. Okay, so let me create dir11 again. Okay, when I created a directory, okay, and ls-ld, this is the command to check list the directory. Okay, long listing means give all the details. We can also use ls-l, so it will not give the proper output. The ls-ld will give us the proper output, means the permissions and all. Okay, so a directory is created. Okay, and I'll explain everything here. So this is the first part. Okay, so this is the permission actually. Okay, so as it is a directory, here D is written. Okay, now the next field is rwx. Okay, then we have again rwx, and then we have r-x. Okay, so actually it is the permission. Okay, so the first field is for the owner of this directory. Okay, and who is the owner? I am logged in as an Ubuntu, so I am the owner of the this directory. Okay, and by default the group will be also the same, and this is the group of the directory. The first part is for the owner. Okay, the second part is for the group, and the third part will be for someone else. Suppose if there is a John user, the permissions for John user or any other user will be this one. Okay, so what is the permission for this dir11? For the owner of this directory, it is read, write and execute. So the owner of the dir11 can do read, write and execute. Okay, so in this case it is just a primary user for primary group for this directory, but sometimes we'll be adding the secondary group here. Okay, so we can change the dir11's owner as well as group. Okay, so suppose we change the group. Okay, so whatever the users are there in that group will have this permission, that is read, write and execute. As of now, the owner itself is having read, write and execute because nobody else is there in the group. Okay, so and the others will have read and execute. Okay, now I want to change the permissions. Okay, so for changing the permissions, first replace r, w and x all with 111. Okay, so this is replaced as 111. The next part is also 111. Okay, for hyphen or minus we'll just consider it as 0. So 101. Okay, so this is a binary number system. Okay, So I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but this is the binary number system. Okay. So in when we convert this binary number system to decimal number system, it will be 775. Okay. Now I want to change the permission. For everyone should have all the permissions. Then I'll have to do 111, 111, and 111. So it is equivalent to 777. Okay, and suppose I want to give only read permission to everyone, so it will be remove write and execute. Okay, so it will be 100, 100, and 100. Okay, and it is equivalent to 555. Okay, so this is how we'll be calculating. I'm used to it. And the other method is, here it is given, but I don't recommend it for new user, because at a time one should learn only one type. And if you see, so here we can give user equal to read write, group equal to read, and others equal to read. So this is also one of the command to change the permission. Okay, but I'll be using this number system. So let's change the permission. For dir11 the permission is 775. Let's change it to something else. So I'll just change it to 755 for dir11. Okay, so 7 means all the permissions 1111, and here 5. Okay, 5 means 101. It others and the group will not have the right permission. Okay, so just enter and do ls-ld again. So we see this is 111, that is 7, 101, that is 5. Okay, and again 101, that is 5. So the permission we added 755. So whatever we want to change, we can change as per the requirement. The command is chmod. Okay, now the permission for this directory is 766. Let's create a directory, one more directory inside dir11, sub dir11. Okay, so let's check the permission for sub dir11. So remember the permission for dir11 is 766. Okay, and what is the permission for sub dir? It is not 766. Okay, it is something else. It is 775. Okay, 111, 111, 101, 775. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll again change the permission for dir11. That will be 770. Okay, dir11 permission is 770. So ideally the permission for subdirectory should also be 770. We have used some logic that anything inside this directory and in this directory should have 770. But if you say the subdir is not having the same permission, okay, so to change the same thing, we'll have to use -r option, r in uppercase, or also you can say in capital, that any permission, okay, what is applicable to dir11 should be applied to all the files and directories in that directory recursively. Okay, so if there is a sub dir inside that, again there are one directory, again some files, all will have recursively same permission. Okay, so -r, remember, and it is always recommended to recursively give permission. Okay, then it will maintain the consistency. Okay, so this is the sub dir11 permission, and this is dir11, almost same. Okay, now let's create one file. Okay, in dir11, sub dir11, and file 11.txt. Okay, let's check the permission for file11.txt. So if you see, as it is a file, here you won't see D. Okay, so file here you will not see here D. Okay, but it is not the same. The permission is not same as dir1 and subdir11 because this file is created later on. Okay, now again if I do chown dir11 recursively, then again check the permission. For file also the permission is 770. Okay, and whenever an executable permission is added to a file, its color will change. So this file is considered as executable, though we don't have anything into it. Okay, but this is considered as executable because we have the executable permission here. Okay, so this is how we give permission to files and directories. Okay, and that too recursively. Okay, now the next command would be chown. Okay, dir11. So if you see who is the owner for this directory dir11, it is Ubuntu. Okay, and who is the group? The group is also Ubuntu. And what is the permission for the owner? It is read write execute. For the group members in the group, it is also read write execute, and for others like any other John or James user, it doesn't have any permission. Okay, which directory? dir11. Now I want to change the group for dir11. Okay, so let's first check if we have any group. That is secondary group. Primary group we already have. Okay, so if you see, it doesn't have except Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the primary group. So let's create a group add. Okay, and class will take group add class. Add sudo to it. Let's check the contents of group. So we have a class group with 1000 GID, ls-ld, dir11. Okay, so the owner is Ubuntu, group is Ubuntu, but we want that now it should be class. Okay, so what we'll do is sudo user mod. As the user is already created, its secondary group -g should be class for which user? Ubuntu, and just press enter. Now ls-ld dir11. Sorry, I wanted to do something else. So okay, it's fine. So if we check, the Ubuntu user is part of class, but we want some other user. So what we will do is I'll just delete the group again. Group del class. I'll again create a group. Okay. Group add class. Now nobody is part of it. Add it again. Okay, it will always show it because we have modified the user. Okay, let's so one of the method which is the quickest method is for removing a group user from group is just edit this file group and just remove that user from this file itself. Which file? Oh, it is removed. As I was seeing some other file, it is removed. When we delete the group, the user is not part of it. So in class, there is no user as of now. Okay. Now let's check the permission. ls-ld dir11. Okay, so the group is Ubuntu. Let's change it. The command is chown. Okay, so the syntax is first we should give the owner Ubuntu and then group for a directory. Okay, just add sudo to it, ls-ld dir11. So if you see, owner is Ubuntu and group is class, and the class is also having read write executable. Others will not have any permission on it. Okay, now how to test it? Okay, so for testing we cannot log in as a class, right? For groups there is no login, only a user can log in. Okay, so let's create a new user. Okay, uh, I'll create two users, user add. Okay, -m will have, so that a home directory is created with the same name. Uh, Again, we'll create John, user add -m John, and let's also have the shell. By default is not bin bash, it is bin sh. So I'll also change the shell to bin bash. Okay, now the John user is created. Add sudo to it and James. Okay, two users are created. Let's cross check cat /etc passwd. John user is created, and let's check group, and class is the group. John and James are the primary groups. Okay, this is the secondary group, but it is only a group as of now. It will be secondary group for particular user. So what we will do is we'll modify user mod. Let's add sudo to it first. User mod, for which user? John user. What we want to modify? We want to modify its secondary group. It doesn't have secondary group. It is only the primary group. It should be class. Okay. So again check /etc group. So John is a part of class. Okay. ls-ld dir11. So now let's log in as. So one of the method we will use is not by the means using putty. We can do using putty as well, but for that I'll have to set the password, create, and after setting the password, the Ubuntu on EC2 will not allow. Okay, by default the password based authentication is denied. Okay, and we'll have to again create keys for class user, John user, James user, and then we'll have to log in there, but we don't want to do that. So for testing purpose, what I'll do is I'll first become root, and user can become any other, and root can become any user. Okay, so let's log in as John. Okay, and go to cd/home Ubuntu. Try to go to cd/home Ubuntu, because dir11 is in Ubuntu, and then go to dir11. It will say permission denied. Okay, because the owner is Ubuntu for it. Okay, and class is John is a part of class. Okay, so directly it will not allow. So for demo purpose, I'll have to do something else. Let's try with something else. So we'll create mkdir/home dir11. Okay, as it is created using root user. Okay, I'll just do dir11. It will have a root permission. Okay, now let's change chmod. Okay, we'll do recursively. Here also we can do recursively. It should be owned by John. James. Okay, and the group should be class slash home dir11, or let's make it Ubuntu. Make it Ubuntu. Let's see what happens. Sorry, ch own it will be. For changing the ownership, we'll have to do ch own. Now let's see home dir11. Okay, so sometimes the permission of this is also main criteria. So home is having read, write, execute for owner, read on no write, and no write for group, and dir11 is inside it. Let's see if it works. So Ubuntu is the owner for dir11 and class is the group for dir11. Okay. Now let's log in as John again. So su-john. Try to go to home dir11. Okay, it is able to go inside it. Okay, now touch. I'll just try to create file 1. Okay, permission denied. And why permission denied? The group is having John is a part of a group and it doesn't have write permission. For now, let's try to log in as James. Okay, cd slash home dir11. Again, try to do touch file 1. Okay, it is also denied. Why? Because permission for, okay, let's do cd dot dot ls hyphen ld dir11. Okay, so the permission for others is also execute, so I'm able to go inside it but not write. Okay, so John is also, which is even though part of a class group, okay, is having a read and execute only, no write permission. Okay, and Ubuntu can write on it dir11. So let's log in as Ubuntu and check su-ubuntu. Okay, and go to slash home dir11. Okay, touch file. Okay, I'm able to create a file. Why? Because Ubuntu is the owner for directory 11. Okay, and owner can do anything because read write execute permission is there. Okay, so John, which is a part of class, is not able to write into it because it is not having write permission. So let's change the permission again. So we'll change the permission using ch mode. Okay, let's do recursively 770. Okay, others are having no permission. Class will be able to write into it. So the user John, which is a part of a class, will be able to write into it, and the command is chmod dir11 is the directory. So it's in slash home. Now login as first James. James is others, will be part of others for this directory. Okay, and others is having as of now 0 permission. Okay, so cd slash home dir11. Okay, it will not even allow to go inside it because it doesn't even have an executable permission. Okay, now let's try to log in as John. dir11. I'm able to go inside it and I'll try to create a file 2. Okay, I'm able to write into it. Okay, why? Because, but whenever the file is written, it is written by that particular user only. Okay, so it will inherit the permission, group and ownership. Okay, even the permissions are changed. So I'm able to write into it as a John user.